Well, why don't we get started? My name is Terry Hatmaker. I'm with Saran Systems. So today's webinar is on migrating from web ministry tools giving solutions to engaged giving. So what are the topics we'll be covering? Well, first we're going to look at why we're going to make this transition. Then we'll look at the advantages for you and your givers. And then finally, we'll look at what you and your givers will need to do to make this transition, and we'll go in and show you and demonstrate to you how you would set up Engage to be able to use this online. So let's first talk about why are we making this transition? Well, the most important reason is we want to provide the best online giving experience to our users. The tools that you're using, if you're using the single giving tool or the Givers Portal, they were our initial online giving offerings, and they've served you and our other clients well over the past decade. However, these tools were built before the spread of mobile devices, and they weren't optimized for those environments. So we undertook the building of a modern framework for our giving, online giving. It allows for responsive windowing, if you will. It doesn't matter if you are on a 28-inch screen on your desktop in a web browser, or if you are on a smartphone, the experience of making a gift will be the same, and it will be a very good experience for that particular device. We call this modern framework Engage, and it was built with mobile in mind. Now, in addition to this modern framework and making it look more modern, we also took the opportunity to build an integrated platform that goes beyond just online giving. Now with Engage, you'll have the opportunity to integrate text giving, small group contact, directories, registration, and more as we build this out over the coming years. Well, that's why we are making the transition. What kind of advantages are you going to see on your end? Well, first, it's going to be easier and better experience for your people. Another thing, you don't have to worry about any additional costs. There's no additional financial commitment required to go from web ministry tools giving to Engage giving. And you don't have to worry about any change in the way you process contributions or deposits. It's going to be the same in CDM Plus. Additionally, you're going to be able to create multiple giving sets. There's not going to be the need to create multiple tools. You can just use multiple links associated with the giving funds you want to use online. That's going to save you time in preparing new giving sets for your people. Also, you're going to give your people an opportunity to have one link access to make a one-time gift or a scheduled gift. No longer do you have to have two tools, one for a single gift tool for a one-time gift and a Givers Portal tool for setting up recurring or scheduled gifts. Also, have you ever had a situation where someone called you and asked for assistance in setting up or changing something in their online information, and it was not easy to have to, where you can walk them through? Well, in Engage, we give you access to your people's Engage setups, your Engage giving setups especially, but you can get to all of Engage. All you do is go to a giving unit record, pull up the Engage tab, and it will connect to their giving, their online giving information, and you'll be able to see their scheduled gifts, help them make edits to them, even create new ones. This would be a very convenient way for you to be able to assist your givers. What are the advantages for your givers? Well, they're going to have a simple, streamlined online experience now. All right. There's a reduced time needed to make a gift with the Engage product. Two really huge benefits to this for them is they don't have to do anything really new. They're going to use their existing web ministry tool, username and password to log into Engage. And all of the recurring gifts, all those scheduled gifts that they created over in Web Ministry Tools, Givers Portal, and the credit cards or bank information they entered is all going to transfer over into their Engage accounts. So really, they have nothing new to do unless they want to do something new. In addition, now they're going to be able to do more. They're going to be able to update scheduled gifts. They're going to be able to update payment methods, access their recent online gifts, as well as access all of their giving history, which includes their online, any checks they wrote, or any cash they gave through other means. With these advantages, what do you need to do to get started? Well, from the church or organization's perspective, what you're going to need to do is three things. One, you need to set up your Engage URL. Second thing you'll need to do is set up your Engage giving. And then finally, post those new URLs to publish those URLs on your website or through our social media and just go live. With respect to your givers, what are they going to need to do? Like I said before, really not much. All they need to do is go to this new link for Engage Giving. They're going to use their existing username and password and just go to town. And then what they'll be able to do is take advantage of all the great Engage features. So, knowing why we're doing this and what the advantages and what steps you need to take, what we want to do today is basically go through the process of showing you what you'll need to do to get up and going. And I'll go through a gift so that well, I'll go through a few gifts so you can see how your people will use Engage. So I'm going to transfer this over so that I can show you my screen. So, as I said, it's a three-step process for you to transfer from Web Ministry Tools to Engage. And so the first step is to set up your Engage URL. And so what you'll do is you'll go to your Web Ministry Tool page, login page, and you'll log into Web Ministry Tools. When you're in Web Ministry Tools, you'll look along the top of the window and you'll see some buttons for Engage and Engage Giving. The first thing you want to do is click on the Engage button. Now here is where you're going to set up something we call a slug. And all a slug is the last characters on the end of this URL. In this case, I already have it set up, and it's set up to be FCC. And so if I click on Edit under the Engage URL, you can see that I can come in here and I can add whatever I want. So the organization name that I entered here is First Community Church of Charleston. If I wanted to, I could come in and I could just type in Charleston, save that, and now my Engage URL has been changed to that particular name. In addition, I said that you can enter in your organization's name. These things might already be entered for you, but you always can change any of this however you want. And you can also upload a logo. to use on the Engage site, and I'll show you where that will populate. Now, the other things here are really outside the realm of this webinar, and so you can ask questions about those later if you want to. But we want to move on to the second step of this process. And the second step of the process is setting up Engage Giving. And so what that means is we're going to go and click on this Engage Giving button and come into the Engage Giving settings. Okay, and you'll see right at the top that when you're entering the Engage Giving settings, there is a giving specific URL right at the top. It uses the slug that you had before. If you remember, I had FCC. I never saved any of this. So if you want to save any of this, you have to remember to save. And so I didn't. So let me hit Save Changes. And I'll go back to Engage Giving. Now you can see my slug has changed to FCC Charleston. The other things that you'll want to do, the other things you want to look at here is you'll want to include a giving memo. So you'll want to compose a message. And so I've got some text here. I'm going to copy, and I'm just going to paste that right into this field here. And you can see it's not very long, and just enough to say, thank you. Next thing you want to do is come down and look at and set a payment type. And this is a payment type that'll be seen in CDM Plus, and it is actually coming from the payment types that you have created or are listed in CDM Plus. So I'm going to click on this drop down, and I created one called Online Gift. So I'm going to select that. And finally, what you'll want to do is you want to include some staff email addresses. Now, these addresses are so that you will receive notification when someone has made a gift or created a scheduled gift or the recurring gift has fired and so forth, okay? And so you can have as many of those as you like. And so you just type those out, okay? And you separate your email addresses with a comma. So you could have 5, 10, however many you need. Once you have those items entered and set, you want to make sure you click on Save Changes. And we move to the next step of setting up the giving, Engage Giving, and that is you need to set what we call a giving set. Now, up to this point, we haven't told Engage what giving funds we want to use for this particular giving URL. And so we're going to come under Giving Sets, and we're going to click on Add Giving Set. It's going to ask to give it a description. So I'll call this Tithes and Offerings, and then click Create Giving Set. And here I can select all the giving funds I want associated with this set. So I'm going to select Tithes, and I'm going to leave the description to be Tithes. I'll come down here to Building Fund, but I want this description to be different. So I'm going to call this one Building for the Future. We're also going to include Memorial. And we'll just say here, call this Memorial Gift. And come down and we'll include Needy Families, and we'll just call this Benevolence. So with those 4 selected, with the descriptions changed to the way I want to see them in Engage, I'll click Save Giving Funds. And now I have a set here that, as you notice, has its own URL. And if you need to edit it for edit this information for any reason, you just click this button here, And as you can see, it will bring us right into this window. We can also edit the giving set URL here. So if I didn't want to call this tithes and offerings, I could have that as any slug as I wanted at the end of that URL. I'm going to leave it as it is. And again, I'll save just for good measure. So setting up giving settings is not difficult. You just have to be concerned with composing a memo, selecting a payment type, putting in the email addresses that you want to be notified for the staff, and then set up at least one giving set. All right. Now it's important to know that with these giving sets, you can create as many as you want. So I could come in here and I could create another one. Let's say we need to purchase, we have a special offering going on. I'll create that gift. And let's say it's for purchasing an organ. And so we're going to use this organ fund giving fund. All right, so now I've got a special offering here, and it has its own URL. As I said before, in the talk portion of this, you could create as many giving sets as you want, and those giving sets can be specific to the giving funds that you want associated to them. And so you can have a button here for tithes and offerings, and you can have another button for special offerings. Okay, so you've got everything set up. Now the next step is just to go live. All right, is to take this information and post it on your web. But the first thing you need to do is make sure that you remove the old links from the web ministry tool giving tools. All right, so you remove those, then you come in and you make a decision on whether or not you want to use this overall URL, or if you want to post these two independently. So what is the difference? What's it going to make, what's it matter? Well, let's just take a look. If I come in here, okay, this is a copy button. These are copy buttons, and these are open buttons. And what this is a QR code. So you could also publish to QR codes if you wanted to. So I'm going to click on the open for the tithes and offering. Here you can see that it brings up a set of giving funds specific to what I had set up for the tithes and offering. Again, if I come back here and I open up the special offering, it only shows the organ fund in this window. So those open up to very specific giving fund list. And so you can make it on your website where you can have an explanation of what this giving is for, and then right at the bottom, a button that would be specific for the information you provided. Or what you can do is use this particular link. I'll open that. And now you see this offers your giver the opportunity to choose which giving set they want to give to. So you're not directing them to one specific set. They can make the choice. Now, you can do this. You might have to explain it a little bit more, whereas the other one, it's really specific. They know that if they click on this button, they're going to get to their tithes fund and things of that sort. Here, they'd have to understand what the descriptions are. Okay, but either way you do this, it's going to make it'll be a much easier experience, because if I click on special offering, it just takes me right to the special offering organ fund that I set up. So that's the first step of your that's the third step of this process, and that is publishing. Okay, now along with publishing to go live, you also need to promote it. And we've put together a web page that's just about publishing and promoting engage giving. All right. It goes through the main engage, the different types, the main engage giving link, the giving set links. It also shows you a QR code of, so how you could use that. Then we come down into more promotion, how you would do it. You know, you're going to promote this transition on your website. You might want to do it by an email blast, newsletters, however you want to do it. If you want to use flyers, we have created a couple of flyers. Well, we created one flyer here for online giving. And then we also created, if you want to also add text to give, we have a flyer just that's just for giving and text to give. All right. And you can take and enter in your specific slug, so it's specific to the URLs that you're posting on the web, on your website. In addition to that, for your users, we have some videos here. They're short and they'll help them get up to speed if they're new and they have to create an engaged account, how they do it, how they give using engaged giving, and then an overall introduction to text to give, and so forth. So there's a lot of resources on this page, and you can find it at help.saran.com. Chris will put it in the chat notes here so that you can take a look at that. Well, that is, in a nutshell, the migration of web ministry tool giving to engage giving. So I'd like to take this time now to open it up for questions and see what we have.
Yeah, just want to remind folks, if you want to ask a question, look down at the bottom. You'll find your participants button. You click on that, and there's a button that says raise hand. And if you click on that, it should raise your hand up here. And there's one right now, and I'll unmute you and let you ask a question. Okay. Carlo, you have a question?
Yes, thanks for doing this. I think you probably said it, but I didn't quite hear it. For existing recurring gifts in web ministry tools, are people going to have to log in through Engage and change those, or will they migrate automatically?
They will migrate automatically.
So it's just when they want to make a change or make a new gift that they'll have to encounter this at all if they're regular recurring givers.
That's correct. Yep.
Okay. And then is the process within CDM for processing the gifts the same?
Yep. Nothing's changed there.
Awesome.
Thank you, Carlo. Joy, you have a question for us?
Yes, actually I have a question. When you were talking about when we have to set up our Engage URL, do we have to change our current one, or can we continue with the one we have set up?
No, that you'll have to take down the URL links that you have for your web ministry tool gift. You'll have to take those down, and then you'll replace it with either this link here or one of your giving set or your giving set links.
Okay. Oh, just one more question. Will we be able to get a hard copy of this presentation?
Yes, we'll be sending out Keynote and PowerPoint files with this information.
Okay.
And a link to the video.
Yeah, that's right. A link to this video too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Tisha, you have a question?
Yeah, I just am wondering, so the web ministry tool site that we're logged into to manage the Engage and Engage Giving, is that website staying the same so that we can go in and do other things? It's just kind of like on the front end for the user, we just need to have the Engage Giving links rather than the other links.
That's correct.
Okay.
Now, unless Alex wants to add anything to that.
The web ministry tool site is going to continue to work as it does. What we are planning to add, or actually working on adding, is that from within Engage, if you are an admin, in your office, when you log into Engage, you'll be able to get to these settings that are in WMT right now from within Engage. They'll do exactly the same thing. They'll have all the same functionality. It's just that they'll all sort of move into Engage.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jerry, you have a question?
Do we have a process for deleting the old process, the old website, the web minister?
Say that again. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
You were saying that we would have to delete the current web minister. Is there a process for doing that?
No, you don't have to delete the website. All you need to do is the links that you put on your website for your people to click to go to the web ministry tool site. Those
Okay.
links you'll need to take down off of your website
And replace it with the, then we replace that with the Engage.
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
John, I'm trying to unmute you. Hey, there you go.
Okay, my question is, how are you knowing who's on the call? Because the last time I did Engage, but I didn't get a link to download the recording.
Oh, you didn't. Everyone, it should have gotten an email went out to everybody that had registered. You registered for. Sorry, go ahead, Alex.
Chris, if you'll remember, that was the one that there apparently something in our follow-up email was flagged by spam filters, and that was the one where we had about 70 email addresses that were removed because they thought there was spam content in there. So we went to try and address that, but I'm thinking that might have been Jonna what happened.
Okay.
So if you look in the chat, Chris put up a link to the guide to migrating to Engage Giving. And Terry, you might want to go ahead and pull that up on the website. This is over on help.saran.com, which is we're moving all of our documentation to this site. And if you, Terry, actually, why don't you go all the way back up to just help.saran.com.
That's what I'm doing.
And I can kind of show you a shortcut to get in here. So when this comes up, you're going to click on Engage. And then we've got right at the top here, there's a featured article for migrating to Engage Giving. So you just click that over on the side, and that's going to take you to a page that walks you through everything that Terry just talked about. And once we finish the webinar today and we upload it, this webinar and the keynotes will be on this page of the slides for you to download. So this is where you can get to all this information in case you don't get the email. We'll absolutely send an email. But in case you don't get it, you can check here. And if you, did you get our emails about this webinar?
Yes, I did. And I got the reminder and the link.
Okay, yeah, I expect you'll get the follow-up email as well saying, here's the, thank you for joining and here's the recording. We'll send that out once we get the webinar edited and uploaded online, and it'll also be on this website.
Okay, thank you.
I got a private message, Alex and Terry, from Debbie. Her mic's not working, but she was asking a question I'm sure a lot of folks will want to know is, what is the time frame we have for migrating to Engage?
So we are strongly encouraging everyone to go ahead and set up their own URL and put their own notes and staff email addresses and so on, and change the links on your website before the end of July. That's essentially sort of our first deadline. If you don't change over your links, then what we will likely do, kind of just based on who's left and still has activity going to the old tools, we will likely create an Engage URL for you and have those links automatically go over to your Engage. But what we won't be able to do is configure a thank you message that's personal to your church or organization, or set your staff email. You could come in and fill that information in afterwards, absolutely. But what we're planning to do in August is essentially start redirecting anyone over to Engage at that time.
Hope that answers your question, Debbie. Do we have any other questions? All right, Sonia.
Okay, so this may or may not be related, but in regards to the payment administration, I'm assuming that will function the same way and still pull all of those transactions in for like searching and that kind of thing?
Yes, payment administration works identically. That is one of the features that in the next couple of months, you will actually access through Engage. It'll have all the same functionality. None of that is changing, just where you get to it.
Okay, because related question, I have under payment administration, when I search for transactions, sometimes it is very cumbersome. Is it possible to have the individual giver's name included on that listing when you do a search?
Sure. Yeah, that's a great suggestion. I'll go ahead and make sure we put that up.
Yeah, I do an event and we have, 200 people that are paying $45, and I'm trying to find the one person that I have to refund.
Gotcha.
So just a thought. Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
Tisha, you have a question?
Yeah, I'm new to this second church that I'm helping out with CDM, and so I'm new to the Engage and the web ministry tools. So if I need to set up that little thank you message, is that something that they would have set up in ministry tools already that I could just over to the Engage part of it? Or do I need to have someone at the church help me set that up? Like what to say, I guess. Like, is that something that's already in web ministry tools with their giving already?
Well, they had a an online gift notice that they sent out that was sent out with their gift, right, Alex?
Yes. So web ministry tools, the sort of way web ministry tools worked with this is you could create one or more tools, and each of those would either accept a single gift, or it would be the giver's portal where you could log in and set up recurring gifts. So on the single gifts, you would basically choose a notice that was configured in CDM Plus. Up under the contribution reports, there's an online giving notices option. So if you just go into or they go into their CDM Plus and go to online giving notices, you should be able to find a message there that they were sending. They possibly could have had multiple set up, but you just want to pick sort of the most universally applicable one and choose that for Engage.
Right. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Terry, if you want to click over to that receiving gifts from Engage page, you can scroll down here a little bit, and that first email towards the top there, up above this, that'll give you a sense of kind of how this comes through.
Right, this is the thank you email, and here's the composed memo that was set up for this church. And then down through here is your staff. What you'll receive was what your staff would receive is notification of gifts. So here's a process pending contribution, and then recurring contributions, and so forth. Okay.
All right. Do we have any other questions? There, Tisha.
Sorry, just one last question I thought of. As far as promoting it before we switch over the URLs, like what is a suggested, like, do you do a couple weeks, a couple days? Like, what's your suggestion as far as before you switch over the links?
I would think you might want to start talking about it, at least getting people ready that this transition is going to occur. You might do that through emails and social media posts.
Okay.
I would say a week or two notice that, that this is going to happen.
Okay.
Especially this being in the summer months, you're going to have people on vacation and such. They may not see it. So you've got through the end of this month and July to promote this. So,
okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I just want to say again, I dropped the link in there to the Engage guide, the Migrating we'll have all the information on our website, and then we'll be, like I said, we'll email out link to this video and the presentation for you all to review later as well. All right, Terry.
All right. Well, I want to thank everyone for coming. Again, if you have any questions after this is over with, you know how to get in contact with us. You can call support at 1-800-633-9581, or you can send an email to support@cdmplus.com, and we'll be happy to help. All right. And we look forward to seeing you guys transition to Engage. I hope everyone has a great afternoon. See you, Chris. See
Bye,
you,
Terry. Bye, Alex. Bye, Steve.
Bye, Steve.